and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to show you how to make melted bows. All you're going to need is a glue gun, just like this one, and these pieces of fabric and a lighter. As you can see, I've got 4 pieces of fabric here, and this embellishment. And what we're doing now is we're going to prevent the edges from fraying by using the lighter. Just make sure you don't burn yourself, and make sure you don't burn the fabric, which is obviously very important. This prevents the edges from fraying. But if you really don't want to use a flame, you can actually buy something from a store, a craft store called Fraycheck, and that basically prevents the edges from fraying without using a flame. It's like a liquid that dries. And it's very important you actually do carry out this step. The reason is you don't want the edges to fray, especially if you're going to sell them online, or if you're going to sell them in a store, or if you're going to give them away as gifts, or even just to your own kids. You don't want to have the edges fraying, because then it makes it look unprofessional, and obviously it doesn't last very long, and you want these to be long lasting, and you want them to maintain their shape and look perfect for years to come. As you can see, I'm doing every single piece of fabric that I'm using, all the edges, to make sure they don't fray. This literally just seals the edges of the fabric. You're going to need to do this with any bow that you make, with the ribbon, just to make sure that they don't fray. Once again, you really don't want to burn yourself, so just be careful and watch what you're doing when you're doing it. And also, just don't put the flame too close to the fabric, because you don't want your fabric to burn, which is, that will be a disaster, obviously, if you've paid a lot of money for brand new fabric like this. But this kind of fabric does fray, so you don't want to leave this step out. It's very important that you add this step to make sure your edges don't fray and to give your bow that professional look. Okay, now let's get started. We're going to take the first disc of fabric and place a dot of glue in the center. You don't need a lot. You really don't need a lot at all. Just make sure you're careful. You don't want to burn yourself. Now we're going to place our second piece of fabric right in the center. And we're going to do the same thing with our third piece of fabric. Place a tiny dot of glue right in the center of that second piece, and literally do exactly the same thing. Just stick that right on top. Really simple to make. It literally takes no time at all. And then we're going to do this again, and just add the final piece of fabric on top with a tiny dot of glue. You don't need to use a lot. If you see any excess glue, you can literally just take it off. Now we're going to put our embellishment. You can use a rhinestone or a diamante or anything like that. This is like a little faux pearl, and I've just literally just done exactly the same thing with the glue and just stuck that right in the center. Just make sure that you press it firmly in place, because you don't want it to fall off. This is a very important step because you want it to look nice. You don't want it to look boring. As I said, you can use any type of embellishment, if what you prefer, and you can use any color of ribbon as well. So that's the final piece. Doesn't it look cute?